It doesn't matter what gender you are. Being an unlikable piece of shit is universal. This is Spoilers.
This is Spoilers.
Nice.
A lot of people say, what's that? It's Pat. A ma'am or a sir, accept him or her, for whatever it might be. It's time for androgyny. Here comes Pat.
Hello and welcome to Spoilers, where we put our pronoun game to the test. I'm your host Korey, recording out of Simi Valley, California. And let's get some intros growing. West to East, who are you? Where are you recording out of? And what's your favorite recurring SNL sketch, if you have one? Or maybe just an SNL sketch that's very memorable to you. Go ahead, West to East, Pappy.
Yeah, this is Pappy, recording from Louisville, Colorado. Great question, by the way. I've always liked SNL. Big fan of like the best of VHS DVD series. Like we had a ton of those. My favorite growing up, we had the best of Belushi, which I think came out in '95. But there's a sketch called Little Chocolate Donuts, where John Belushi's fat ass like wins a decathlon, and like he's being interviewed afterwards, and it's like a commercial. It's like, how'd you do it? He's like, donuts. Little chocolate donuts. The breakfast of champions. So he's like smoking a cigarette and stuff. It's I don't know why it's always stuck out to me, but like I wore like the tape off that VHS. I watched it so much.
Awesome. Great answer. Who's next? Eastist, excuse me.
Brett?
I'm Eastus.
I'll just go.
Okay.
Hey there, this is Stevie recording from Elkhart, Indiana. I'll see. My favorite one recently in the past couple of years is definitely Adam Driver's Career Day, where he plays a very old oil baron when he comes to Pete Davidson's class. That skit cracks my shit up, so definitely that one.
Nice.
I'm next. This is Josh from Goshen. You guys started without me. Am I allowed to be here?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
I was restarting my computer and I signed back into Skype, and he was giving the spoiler, and I was like, ah!
You're recording, right? So you're good.
I'm recording. It's all good. So yeah, this is Josh from Goshen. Someone's just gonna have to line up the beginning of that tape. But two things that really memorable for me, and one's really quick. It's just a dude. It's some like Olympic weightlifting thing, and his arms come out of his sockets, and blood just starts going everywhere. Love that clip. And then there's this commercial where it's about like a cockroach exterminator, and it doesn't just poison and kill the cockroaches. It like takes all their legs off one by one, sears their genitals, and like does something else terrible, and then like sends them back into the colony to be an example or something like that.
That's awesome. I think Brett's next.
Mikey's up.
I'm sorry, Mikey's up. Go ahead.
Mikey, recording from Goshen, Indiana. A recent one, there's one called like Papyrus with like Ryan Gosling.
Oh, yes.
Just about a font that drives him crazy. And then there's another like Ryan Gosling one called Santa Baby that I thought was really funny too, where he's like a Quentin Tarantino couple and he's ruining this Christmas holiday party. It's really funny.
This is Brett recording out of Fort Wayne. I guess if we're going recent, because I was going to say...
it doesn't have to be recent. Don't feel the pressure.
Anything by The Lonely Island or Barry Gibb Talk Show were like always my favorites. I love all things Andy Samberg. There's some really funny new ones. One with Ryan Gosling. It's where they're abducted by aliens. There's like one with him and I think maybe Casey Affleck. I don't remember, but there's a couple of them. They're all pretty funny. Like two people have like mind-bending awesome experiences and the other person has like just terrible experiences where you'd have to see it. It's pretty funny. Kate McKinnon and Cecily Strong, and then usually a guest star. Those are pretty funny.
Don't they keep like anal probing the same person?
Yeah, she's always like she's got a name for like her her butt in her other privates. she keeps naming them different names. Like I don't know, like I don't know. You have to see. It's pretty funny though. But yeah, she gets like probed and they like smack her around and stuff, and the other two people are having like godlike experiences, and it's pretty funny.
Brett, is Ryan Gosling one of your boys?
No, I love him though. He's good.
Okay, he's not in the harem, but he's a candidate.
Yeah, he's up there.
I love the goose, but what we're here to talk about is the 1994 film, It's Pat the Movie, the Pat Riley biopic. I think the first thing we should do is maybe set the stage for our listeners that aren't familiar with this SNL character, Pat. Brett,
Pat,
could you tell us about like the Pat SNL sketches? Like, what's the premise? Like, what is it about for people that don't know anything about it?
So Pat is like the ultimate androgynous character. Pat is played by a woman, Sweeney, and Julia Sweeney, and everyone is dying to know what kind of sex or gender, whatever you want to call it, she is.
I can't talk about this anymore. I guess it's that time of the month.
Oh, okay.
Bills.
And Pat is just completely oblivious to people not understanding, and she's always saying stuff like in the movie, "Oh, I need some feminine products," and she's like, "Oh, you never know when my aunt's gonna visit." Like she's just oblivious.
I crushed my nuts.
That's pretty much it.
Well, I gotta point out, Brett referred to her as she that entire time.
I said he.
And the actress is a she, but I thought in the marketing for this, Korey, they said like, you'll finally figure it out, but you don't.
You know, I don't remember the marketing of this super well. This movie was not a huge deal when it came out. I mean, not by any means.
No.
This movie made $60,000, which is enough to buy a pretty nice car.
Why did you pick it? Because you hadn't hosted in a really long time. You came off the Schneid, and I was not expecting the It's Pat: the movie curveball.
I just wanted to talk about this movie for a long time with other people. And you know what? Most people have not seen this movie, so I haven't been able to. So I'm excited that you guys watched this. All of you joined in, except for Brother Jordan, but he's kind of an exception. But thank you guys for watching and joining on this. I don't know. It's just, there's a lot of stuff to talk about, I feel like.
Not welcome.
Josh, it sounds like you didn't enjoy your experience with Pat. Since you jumped in there, why don't you kick it off by telling us about the character Pat in this movie? And we don't have to go through the whole plot beat by beat, so guys, feel free to jump in whenever you want. But like, what do we learn about Pat off the top?
As I remember it, I started life down the road most traveled.
Here we are. Whoops. Oh, sorry there. Little tyke. Mrs. Riley, congratulations. You are the proud mother of a beautiful 7.5-pound baby.
Doctor, come quick. There's an emergency on Ward G.
I'll just read my first two notes here, if that's okay. The second one deals with Pat specifically, but the first one is, wow, this movie is so bad it slows time. Like a real time machine. But anyway, Pat. So my second note is, she spits on people. She barges in. She's self-absorbed. She's flippant. She even lies in her own diary. She's a pretty horrible... it is a very horrible person.
Okay, but...
I think that sums it up.
Spitting on people, that cracked
So
my shit
gross.
up. I don't like this movie. I thought it was pretty bad. Like, Pat's a pretty cynical character, but my God, if when Pat doesn't spit on Chris's face at their engagement party, I didn't lose my shit.
You know what I always say? We're made for each other.
Oh, Pat.
I kept giggling about it like 20 minutes later, too.
I chuckled, I think, three times. I can't remember the third time, but I remember the first two, and they were just like not super funny. I don't know why I chuckled.
A mirthless chuckle.
But I only had one chuckle. Well, one character got chuckles out of me, but we'll get to that person.
Okay.
later.
Did you guys think it was funny when Pat just like falls down a flight of stairs?
Yes, because I was hoping he died.
It's funny hearing you say it. I don't think I laughed during the movie.
I crushed my nuts.
Ooh, that's gonna hurt.
Oh, shoot. There goes my afternoon snack.
He's got a real linguini from Ratatouille thing going on, and I don't.
What?
I hate clumsiness, like as a joke. I guess if it's well done, but
So Brett,
that's
you
not my
must
thing.
hate like Charlie Chaplin then.
I don't know any Charlie Chaplin. More like Three Stooges. That's like not my type of humor.
Okay.
Or like Chris Farley.
It's not like I'm not saying I don't like physical humor. Like Chris Farley's really good at that. It's just using the clumsiness as a storyline. Like in Ratatouille, that drove me nuts. Luckily, they kind of went away from that. In this movie, I mean, she only falls like twice, right?
Yeah.
You guys
It
keep
wasn't
saying
overdone.
she.
I'm sorry. Julia Sweeney is a woman.
Are we gonna have to like settle on a pronoun?
See, I thought, can we just get to the, I thought Pat was like way more of a boy and Chris
Way
was
more
a girl.
dude.
If I had to guess,
Definitely.
that would be my guess for sure.
What about you, Mikey? Where do you land on the gender?
I would have. I mean, towards the end, weren't they like suggesting that Pat was kind of the guy in the relationship?
I finally found a yin to go with my yang. Or is that yang to go with my yin?
I mean, I don't think
know.
that matters. Yeah.
Every time they did, they would double back and make it like the opposite.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. Was like your intention to just waste an hour of everybody's lives today, Korey? How was this even made? Honestly, it's such a dumb skit.
There was absolutely no malice behind this movie pick, I assure you.
So I watched a couple of the skits before this. I thought the skits are pretty funny. Like, it to some extent, like they got a couple of like laughs out of me. It's just like this movie is one joke pretty much for 70 minutes, right? Like there's not a lot of room for it to grow.
Yeah, and it's like edited like skit to skit too, and like these different scenes. So it's like just exhausting going from one bad gag to the next like every 5 minutes. So I don't know.
I thought Charlie Rocket was actually somewhat entertaining.
Me too.
The guy who goes crazy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
The guy
he's
from
fun.
Dumb and Dumber?
Yes.
Yeah.
the villain.
The guy from
Dumb and
SNL who said the F word and got fired.
Dumber. He did?
Yeah, and I don't want to get too down, but he killed himself in 2005, so.
Oh, jeez.
Rest in peace,
That
Charlie.
kinda ruined my night.
He's the one
He's like
character
the one
that was
character
cracking my
liked.
ass up. Yes, me too.
Thanks, Brett.
Sorry. Rest in peace, Charlie.
Why is Brett always bringing that up?
God, Debbie Downer over here.
Every time someone dies, Brett has to mention it.
What? How could he possibly mention every time someone
He's
dies?
got a running Google Doc.
You'd be surprised.
I'd love to know another time that I did that.
I'm picking Wizard of Oz next week. It's like Toto died. Did you guys know that?
Terrible cancer for Toto.
Oh, I guess I did say the dog from Turner and Hooch died, which should not have been a surprise. Since it was made 31 years ago. The dog was 9 when the movie was made.
I want to talk about Charles Rocket, Kyle, the neighbor, a little bit more toward the end. So we're going to save some of that, but I do have things to say about it. Stevie, Pat has a neighbor, Kathy Griffin, as herself.
Ugh.
How did you feel about their interactions? Was there anything of note to you? I mean, I think it's through Kathy Griffin that we really discover how shitty of a person Pat is.
Whenever I lose a job, I like to forget about my problems and help others, say a neighbor in need.
Pat, can I help you?
Oh, hi, Kathy. Every time I look in your front window, I notice the clock on your VCR is blinking.
Oh.
I could fix that for you in a jiffy.
Oh, okay, if you want to.
Well, I can't do it right now. I have to come back when it's convenient for me.
Like, so I can't stand Kathy Griffin to begin with.
Nobody can.
It's really hard for me to watch these scenes. But, like, Pat will just, like, barge into her apartment.
Yeah.
And just pop a squat and sit awkwardly close to her. And then she'll have problems in her life. And I still say Pat's a he, but it's like, well, fuck that. I'm going to go about my life. And it's just, it's hard to watch their interactions because Pat is such a shitty person.
Yeah.
Like, especially with the whole VCR thing, which I don't know why it was a reoccurring joke. That drove me nuts.
What did he say? Who'd be blinking from here to Tuesday? I wouldn't have fixed it.
As much as we all hate Kathy Griffin, she kind of grounds the movie in some ways. It's like something I can relate to. Oh, I know her and I get what she's doing.
Let me give you a piece of advice, Kathy.
Hello?
Don't ever work in the restaurant business. They just expect you to serve people. I quit.
Pat, I'm in a towel. Should I be embarrassed? Look, Pat, we have to have a little chat, okay?
All right.
You can't just barge in here whenever you want to, okay? I'm trying to get ready for a date, all right? And we really barely know each other.
I think it's funny when Pat goes to program the VCR and Pat offers to do it and Kathy says, sure, I guess. And Pat says, well, I can't do it right now. I got to come back when it's convenient for me.
Yeah, that was, it didn't make me laugh, but, that summed her up pretty early on. Him, Pat.
They, them.
Julia Sweeney.
Pappy, Pat meets someone very special and forms a relationship pretty early on in the movie. Why don't you tell us about that?
Yeah, so another reoccurring theme in the movie is that Pat has a hard time keeping down a job, probably because he's like an oblivious asshole, probably because I'm sure his androgyny gets in the way, probably because he sneezes on fresh sushi as it's being served. But
that was gross.
He wanders into a strip club, and it's the same joke. You think there's going to be some indication one way or another if it's a man or a woman, and he bumps into another equally androgynous, maybe a little bit more feminine Pat version named Chris. And Chris is a free spirit. She seems pretty intelligent. She has like an anthropology degree, but she just bartends because she likes to hear the stories. PhD, yeah.
I've been here for 10 years now. I've just heard so many incredible stories and met so many fascinating people.
I wish I could find a job I like that much. I'm overqualified for Southland Gas. I'm already looking for something else. I guess you could say I'm a restless spirit, a lover, a liver of life. I'm eternally searching for something more.
I don't know. Chris is also pretty shallow too, which I think is a problem with the movie. All these characters suck. Like, she seems to only care about Pat once he's a famous radio personality, so I wasn't necessarily a big fan of Chris.
There was kind of a cool gag in there where they have so much in common, but it's really like, I hate evil deeds. The other person's like, yes.
Yeah, that's definitely a joke.
One of them was, I hate bad, boring movies, and that's a bold thing to say in a bad, boring movie screenwriter.
Oof.
Speaking of the writer, so you guys may already know this. So one of the writers, his name was Stephen Hibbert, but a uncredited writer was Quentin Tarantino on this movie.
Oh, yeah.
So apparently Quentin Tarantino is friends with Julia Sweeney and helped with some rewrites on this, which is pretty interesting in and of itself. And it really makes you wonder, where Tarantino's participation went. I suspect it has to do with more the end of the movie and what unfolds later on. But there's also a fan theory that this movie is connected to Pulp Fiction because there's a couple commonalities. Quentin Tarantino, obviously. But the other writer, Stephen Hibbert, he played the Gimp in Pulp Fiction. He was in the Gimp suit. Also, Julia Sweeney was in it as Raquel.
And Kathy Griffin.
As herself. Very good.
And the black guy, Phil Lamar. What's his name?
Yeah, Phil Lamar. Marvin.
Mad TV's
Marvin.
Phil Lamar.
Stevie, why did you exhale so frustratedly when Quentin Tarantino was brought up?
Because okay, so for those who don't know, rewrites are really... Okay. For a person to get credit on a movie, if it's an original idea, they have to write 50% of the script. 50% of what they write has to end up in the movie. When it comes to an adaptation or comes from a source, which is its Pat came from SNL, it has to be 33%. I think Quentin had very little involvement in this movie or rewriting of the script. I know it's fun to say, but I don't think he had a whole lot to do with the script.
Sorry, dude. He's always going to be him.
What do you think it actually looked like? Do you think they just brought him in the writing room to kind of brainstorm one day?
That's the only thing I can really think of.
How long do you think he spent on it? I guess is my point.
Considering, I mean, Pulp Fiction and this are the same year, a glancing weekend.
Yeah.
A glancing weekend.
Yeah, he probably just told Pat to like drool a little bit more here. We need a little bit more of that.
Spit harder.
Show the feet.
Yeah, I was going to say spit on the feet.
Oh, God.
That's hardcore.
So Pat and Chris, who we talked about a little bit earlier, they are made for each other, I guess, as they are both androgynous people. I have heard from some people that they considered Chris to more be a trans woman than an androgynous individual like Pat. I didn't really see that myself, but it's something some people threw out there.
Looked quite a bit like David Spade.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Pappy?
Yeah.
I kind of disagree with you about Chris. I don't think that I didn't get it like she only cared about Pat when she was famous. It's just she couldn't bear to be with someone who couldn't like get a job and hold a job. Like, so once she finally gets she gets a stable job, then like they can start taking the other person seriously. I didn't take it as her being super that bad of a person. I think she's a way better person than Pat. Let's put it that way.
For someone that's going to Tibet to free their mind, why does she care if she has a job or not?
She's going to Tibet to get over Pat.
Why she's leaving.
Did you see the electricity when they touched Brett? I mean, their love couldn't be denied. I guess. I don't know.
I saw it.
I don't know. I mean, I think that they're all just kind of shitty people. I'm with you that there definitely was also that beat of like Pat doesn't care about fame and fortune, and that's like the little itty bitty character growth that he does, that he just wants to like, he says something to the effect of I only want one person to see me naked nowadays or something like that. But I don't know. Yeah, she doesn't seem to be as bad of a person as Pat for sure. The timing's just a little shitty on her part.
Speaking of Pat and fame and fortune, Pat, the character seems to feel like they are owed some kind of fame and fortune without having any real talent or anything. And Pat does kind of get there in a way. Mikey, I haven't heard from you for a while. Why don't you tell us about like Pat's first entry into being famous through the TV show?
What's the weird neighbor guy's name?
Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle has kind of a master plan because he becomes obsessed with Pat that he wants to find out this person's gender so badly that they're going to try and come up with any scheme possible to do it. So his plan is to like, it's like America's Funniest Home Videos or something, or a talent star search or something.
I think it's called America's Creepiest People in this movie.
Oh, is it? I was like really not paying too much attention to it. But yeah, he's trying all these various ways to like confirm Pat's gender. So he's like, you got any naked pics of you? Or you got your birth certificate? And of course it's like his gender is obscure, their gender is obscured. He's just like trying to get all this information that he can't find. And they end up making this video, and it's really just Pat being a gross weirdo, and then it ends up getting super, I don't know, unpopular. I mean, people don't like it, do they? They just find him to be the creepiest person.
It's set up like Pat's gonna be on like some kind of like maybe a more positive spin on America's Funniest Videos or whatever, but it's like a more negative spin, America's Creepiest People.
Yeah, that host wasn't very nice.
No.
See what I mean? Pretty creepy, huh?
Creepy. Well, I think Pat was sort of magnificent.
And she even like made fun of the expert who came on. She's like, "Oh, thank you for that enlightening information."
No one mentions that later. Like Chris, nor Pat, nor what is it, Kyle, the creepy guy from next door. Like they all just kind of gloss over that, and Pat never gets mad about it. Totally oblivious.
Yeah.
No, Pat's pretty stoked about it. Like, Pat feels famous at that point. I believe Pat answers the phone as TV's Pat speaking.
The way Pat walks through public and goes, "Hi, thanks," is my favorite part of the entire movie.
Howdy, Tippy. Boy, do I have something to tell you.
What? What do you want?
I'm gonna be on TV.
Oh, dear God.
Oh my gosh. Can't believe how much we're laughing about this movie.
It's a funny movie.
No.
Stevie, Pat continues to kind of get more famous, I guess, in Pat's own way by playing with the ween, as you guys joked about earlier.
Hey, you guys, I'm playing with the ween.
What? Oh, gross.
I'm playing with the ween.
Why don't you lead us through the ween stuff?
Okay, first off, someone tell me, is the Ween a real band?
Yes.
Yes.
It's
Yes.
The Ween.
It's the Ween in this movie.
Ween. It's Ween.
Is Ween good?
They had a flash in the pan popularity. That's why it's kind of outdated. I mean, they had like one kind of big song in '93.
I called upon the force of time and space.
I need to speak.
Yeah, go ahead.
on this.
You probably know a lot
Ween
more.
expert
When
Josh.
When I worked at Yogi's Bar and Grill, I'm one of the older millennials here, but
We
when
don't
I worked
claim
at
you.
Yogi's Bar and Grill in college, I was working with Gen Xers, the older cool guys, and they all swore up and down, like not joking, Ween is the greatest band of all time. They smoked weed in the refrigerator and came out and they played Ween and we had to listen to it all day. Ween is the greatest band of all time according to some people. Real band. Just need to throw
And
it out.
how do you feel
Josh?
about it?
How do you even spell Ween? W-E-I-N?
W-E-E-N.
Josh, you
So
seem real
stupid.
protective of the Ween.
Yeah, what are your thoughts, Josh?
They have like one song that's like my jam, but a lot of it I had a hard time listening to.
Dude, their name is apparently a mixture of wuss and penis. That's how they came up with their name. And that became like their official names.
Wow.
Still to this day, some of the people who I respect their musical opinion the most in the whole world thought that Ween was the greatest band of all time.
I've honestly never heard of them, ever.
Yeah, that's why I asked if they were
I
real.
was like, yeah, I just figured it was a director and a producer cosplaying or whatever, just putting themselves in the role. Or
I
whatever.
really hope there's something older than Josh and Kylo and Brett right now listening to this podcast losing their
Oh,
minds.
yeah, I guarantee they're going to be ticked off.
I hope.
No, this could be the best thing for the pod.
I hope.
You guys learned who Ween
Here's
is.
what I
That's
hope. I hope they
great.
just had the toughest day at work. They don't want to go home, and they're stuck in traffic, and someone really just pissed them off. And they're listening to me shit on Ween, or I've never heard of Ween, and it sends them out of control. That's what I hope.
Meanwhile, there's riots going on in America. COVID's sweeping the nation. They're going crazy. out
Finally,
there.
an It's Pat podcast. No one would watch this movie except for Ween. Why else would anybody want to watch this movie?
It's
Are they on
big in the
Spotify?
Ween fan base.
Yeah, they're on
Are they
Spotify.
on Spotify? They are?
Yeah. Yeah.
Is Ween still touring?
I believe so. They've been a band for like over 30 years.
Wow. Whoa.
Are they like the Gen X's Aerosmith? Like they just stay together and tour forever?
Definitely not even close to like Aerosmith.
No, not even close.
The
Aerosmith
Gen
has like a
X's
bunch of
Aerosmith,
hits.
Brett. The Gen X's.
Did
Let me just
anybody
put
else
this into
laugh?
perspective for you guys. Ween was in this movie. Aerosmith was in Armageddon. Who's the bigger
Yeah.
band?
Ween.
There's no argument who the bigger band is. Who's the more talented?
Okay,
band?
guys, Ween is playing at the Summer Camp Music Festival Friday, August 21st. Who wants to go?
I'm in.
Wow, they haven't adjusted their schedule for COVID-19. Don't know how much I trust the the minds behind Ween.
Well, you saw them. They're not the cleanest group of guys.
Extras played their other two bandmates. I have no idea why they did
Okay, well,
that.
anyway, to get back on track, because I'm fascinated by Ween now, even though I know I'll never listen to them. Yeah, they invite Pat to play one of their songs or one of their gigs. And
Why?
it's to record a music video. Do we ever see that music video?
No.
That's unfortunate.
Ween is
Did
not
Pat
woke.
ever see the contract? Did we ever see the contract?
No.
Why did they ask Pat though? Like, didn't they just run into him or something, or
Well,
what
it would have made more sense if we saw the music video. Like, were they making fun of him? Like,
well, some things are left for interpretation.
Why do we have this person on stage playing the tuba that does not match this song at all?
I laughed when he was playing the tuba. I can't help myself. Like the way he's like kind of marching around up there. It was just funny to me.
Pat plays the tuba for 3 seconds and then stops and just does the clapping on beat thing.
Yeah,
and everyone goes with it. Everyone's on board with Pat clapping. I was real excited at that part, but yeah, I feel at a loss by not knowing what Ween's intentions were. The only thing I can think of was it was supposed to be mean-spirited, then Ween, the band, was like, no, you can't put that in the movie, and it's just a mystery from there.
I feel like that's true because in like the second half of the movie, they're like, Pat's like, hey, do you want me to tour with you guys or whatever? And they're like, no, dude, that was a one-time thing. We don't need you anymore. And they're like kind of putting him down about it when Pat just had like his junk exposed on stage.
Oh, they're nice to him later.
Yeah, when he shows his junk.
Well, yeah, everyone cheers.
That's really all anyone wants out of Pat. Let's see the junk.
That's the whole point of this movie.
Drop those
What's
pants.
under the curtain there?
Now, there's one point in the movie, I should have probably glossed over this, but I put it in my notes, so here we are. I think it's one of the most pointless scenes I've ever seen in a movie, which is where after the concert, Pat is backstage with Ween and eats quote-unquote mushrooms.
Yeah. Gotta pad the runtime somehow, right? That's just
Maybe-
like another bad joke that's in the movie.
I see trails. A realistic pillow. Gee, have a polka dot monkey on your nose.
Pat, those aren't hallucinogenic mushrooms. They're from Safeway.
Oh.
Maybe
they
Pat's
immediately
nightmare might
dismiss
be
it.
another as pointless scene, but man.
Did you guys ever know someone in college who would like have one beer and like be super drunk?
Oh,
Or,
yeah.
Yeah, my freshman roommate.
Yeah, it's such like an obnoxious thing, and I'm so glad that Pat embodies that, so I can hate it. But yeah, he eats a mushroom, and then he's just tripping. It's a pretty short scene. There's not a lot happens. He's just tripping balls, and then Ween's like, "Dude, that's not a magic mushroom," and he's like, "Oh," and he's just normal, and he walks on about his business.
Placebo over.
It's really not funny as far as the scene goes. It's really kind of annoying, frankly. But
That joke was called back to 15 years later in Parks and Rec. When Leslie was like, I ate a brownie once at a party in college. It was intense. Then she's like, it was just a normal brownie, but it tasted really good.
oh yeah,
That's the exact same joke.
Yeah, actually, Eurotrip did it too, but they're in Amsterdam and they go to a special bakery and they eat it and they get all ticked off. And the guy's like, "That's just a Dutch. We're just a Dutch bakery. That's not a special brownie." No one's seen Eurotrip, huh? Okay,
No, I have. It's coming back to me.
No, I've seen it.
I love
It's
it.
like one of those like Van Wilder era, like
Definitely.
comedy, right?
I watched it recently. It could not be made now. Oh my god, it could not be made now.
I just remember Xena Warrior Princess in there with all the dildos. Like,
Oh yeah. God, my dad laughed so hard at that safe word joke. Oh my gosh.
All right, so Pat doesn't get to stay with the band Ween, and eventually Pat gets a new stepping stone onto fame, and that's when Pat takes over the Kathy Griffin like love chat radio show. Josh, what's going on there?
Kathy Griffin, you find out, is like a radio host that takes calls from people in
Like
trouble.
Delilah.
It's a really sappy
Oh, I hate Delilah.
Dear Abby sort of thing. And she tries to give him legit advice.
I mean, he was looking at me funny, and I had the gun in my hand, so I shot him.
Well, anger is nothing more than hurt that hasn't been dealt with. You need to work on healing your inner child, okay? I want you to have a 20-minute conversation with your inner child every day. And remember, no fighting. All right, so let me know how things go.
And one day, I think she has to go to the potty, and Pat because Pat barges in everywhere, jumps in her seat, starts answering her phone calls, and like the producers, including
Tim Meadows.
Tim Meadows, just like love her style because she's just super frank and mean and rude and hangs up on people and gives them like truncated
I wonder
advice.
if that would make them liable, like when she's like, have you ever tried drowning yourself?
Hey, can I help you?
Sometimes I have suicidal thoughts. I feel like I want to jump off a building or slit my wrists or put a bullet in my head.
Well, have you considered drowning? I mean, they say it's like God giving you a big wet hug forever. Stop calling here.
Also, she left because she went to get security.
To get Pat the fuck out of there.
Yeah. I heard it's like God's hug or whatever. Like God's wet hug to you or something.
Yeah.
It's
That's
funny
awful.
to me that Tim Meadows says Pat's responses are funny but aren't. So like Pat gives this horrible advice, which isn't that funny, but Tim Meadows says it's funny, and to me that's funny.
I love Tim Meadows.
This is great talk radio.
Actually, to me, you pointing out that Tim Meadows says that's funny, even though it's not funny, is the funny part.
We've gone too far.
Josh, you pointing out that... Never mind.
See, I wish... I don't know when we're going to talk about Kyle, but he's a really big part of the movie, and I think it actually would have... It could have had something if it would have been like more of like the Odyssey of Pat, where he's getting all these different jobs. Like playing with Ween was okay, the radio thing was okay. Like I actually didn't mind those as scenes. The Kyle's shit is the stuff I actually didn't like.
Okay, so now's a perfect time. Who is Kyle, Pappy, and what's his involvement?
Didn't like Kyle?
Kyle is the next door neighbor who becomes obsessed with Pat, and like I just didn't laugh at any of his stuff. I just didn't think it was funny. He slowly starts to lose his mind. Like he cuts out his wife's face in a picture and puts Pat's face.
That made
That's funny.
That might have been the one that made me the third one, but
I don't know. I didn't see. He's so obsessed with Pat that the only clue to Pat's diary is that it's a word in the dictionary, and so he starts at A, and it turns out it's literally the last word in the dictionary. I don't know. I didn't. If someone else liked him, you can take it. He just didn't make me laugh.
When he came out the first time and he had Pat's glasses and wig on, I chuckled during that part.
I love the part when it looks like Pat's peeing through the window.
Yeah.
The normalcy behind it is so hysterical because, like, Kyle runs over there with a giant video camera, like he's from the news team, and points it directly down.
Nightcrawler.
Nightcrawler for sure.
Nightcrawler. The inspiration for Nightcrawler was actually it's Pat.
Yeah.
But
no fast pans. Steady hands.
Yeah, exactly. And the way Pat...
Use your zoom.
The way Pat just... What's he say about orange juice?
It's like, I can never get through a carton of OJ before it expires.
I don't know. I like the Kyle parts.
Who can unravel the enigma of Pat?
I like Kyle, too. He embodies a regular man who turns just greasy, masturbating dude in one room obsessed with something.
I have a question. His little Pat doll, a.k.a. Kim Jong-un doll, is he making the noises? Or is it, like, in his head? Because the doll's going like...
Access denied.
Yeah, he's like in his own... He's doing something else, and in the background you hear... Like, so it's...
He
I don't
gets
know.
freaky with this little doll.
When he made that doll clap after Zytham worked, I was laughing really hard. The more I think about it, the funnier this movie really is.
It's funny us talking about it.
One of my favorite gender question jokes in the movie is when Kyle goes to Pat's apartment and gets really close to Pat's crotch and says,
Whoa, Pat. Is that a banana in your pocket, or are you just happy to see me?
No, it's a banana. If you're hungry, get your own. This is my snack.
and it's literally a banana. I don't know. That's
that joke's been done a lot though, but yeah, that was.
That is not funny.
In that same sequence though, when he's like, I need a nude photo, and he grabs the baby photo, and it's just a giant pair of glasses and a giant pair of eyebrows. That was funny.
The whole thing with that setup is to get him on the TV show. He has to provide this stuff for the, I don't know, station or whatever. He has to fill out the document, he or she, Pat. And then there's like the sex question, male and female. And Pat just writes often.
Often.
But
what does that mean?
Sex often. That's my little joke.
Pat gets laid a lot. But, I mean, Kyle could have just said, like, well, they actually need you to make a selection. It's, like, required. And then
yeah, but he immediately went to his backups, like the license and... So, yeah, he probably should have just stuck with that first one, but...
I feel like this question of Pat's gender could be answered, is what I'm saying here. Like, you could, like, force the issue, you know, and just be like, you have to, I'm sorry.
Definitely.
You want to be on TV, right?
Well, they also use cheap movie tricks. I think kind of what Stevie was alluding to. But, like, at one point when she's working in the Japanese restaurant, it's flat out said if he or she is a he or a she, and there's just, like, a blender or something.
It's Pat.
If someone walks in
Pat
front
does
of
the
it.
blender.
Also, there's subtitles because they're speaking in Japanese at the sushi house. Someone gets in the foreground and covers the subtitle.
Yeah, that's what you're talking about, yep.
Mikey, I haven't heard from you for a little bit. At some point, Pat approaches some, like, thugged out gangsters.
Oh, gosh.
Why don't you tell us what goes down and what happens afterwards?
Why are you going to Mikey?
This is a very formative time in Pat's life right here. This scene, Pat, after Pat realizes that
her laptop's gone.
Her laptop is gone. I don't know how to say his or hers. I still don't know, so I'm just struggling to get through the scene.
It really doesn't matter.
It's Pat.
Yeah, Pat, the diary is stolen, and so I don't know, her first instinct is to walk down the street and antagonize the local people of color in the community and ask them where her laptop is.
Whoever had stolen my diary had left few clues behind, and I was soon on the trail, sniffing out leads. Hey, dudes, any of you guys steal anything lately?
What are you talking about?
Like my laptop diary? It's been stolen and I want it back!
What the hell are you anyway?
Oh, I know what you're thinking. Am I a Crip or am I a Blood?
No.
And the minorities she's asking also have some questions of their own regarding her sexuality, not her sexuality, but her gender. He's the black guy that she asked is like very confused and asked, "Are you a man or are you a woman?" Like right to her face. And Pat, I don't know, has a mental breakdown because I don't think she knows what the word androgynous means.
Right.
And that's what he says to her, and she has to go run back home and look it up in the dictionary. And she ends up seeing a picture of herself. It's just like a stupid joke where the definition is just, it's Pat, and it's just a little black and white picture of Pat next to it. It's so stupid.
This is a script where dictionary comes into play multiple times. Isn't that a cliche that's frowned upon in even like the most amateur writing courses?
That's the Tarantino edition. Confirmed.
Yes.
Yeah.
You see the joke coming a mile away with the Pat opening the dictionary.
Mm-hmm.
So where things lead up is Chris the neighbor. I'm sorry, not Chris. Kyle the neighbor, who is, again, super obsessed with Pat. Like, really starts going into crazy stalker mode.
I will know your secrets, my love. I will possess you utterly.
Josh, how does that eventually play out, and where does it end up?
A lot of Kleenexes laying around for this dude.
This place is a mess.
Trying to get into her diary, not finding the nude pics in there that he wants. Following her around, calling her. He calls her on the radio show and says, like in some cheesy, crappy accent,
This is KVIBFM. I'm your host, Pat. Now let's take our next call and make it something lively.
I'm wanting to be telling you that I'm having something that none of your other callers have.
What's that, your sanity?
No, your diary.
What? Who is this?
All in good time, my little elusive friend. And if you're ever wanting to see your diary again, you'll be meeting me at Ripley's auditorium at high noon.
How do I know this isn't a crank call?
Have you been vacuuming under your couch lately?
And finally, even though like a bunch of people have called Pat and tried to like talk to her directly, this actually finally breaks her out of her like radio personality spell, and she like, oh, you have the diary? Like, let's meet. So they meet at a fun house. And actually, it's kind of a fun scene to see Kyle show up, and he's like dressed completely as her and standing across from her, and like there's also rapey vibes, so it goes dark quick. But at first it's funny.
That was the Tarantino edition.
Right there.
Yeah.
That was it.
Rapey Charles Rocket? Maybe.
Take off your clothes.
What? You're nothing but a pervert.
Don't you see? We were meant for each other. We're like two complementary pieces in the crazy jigsaw puzzle of love. I just need to know how we fit together. By uncovering the secret of you, I uncover the secret of myself.
Kyle!
Now take off your clothes if you ever want to see your diary alive again.
Look, and I'm not saying like that. I think that I don't know. I don't want to put. I just think that it's weird that when you start with an open-ended SNL character, that the climax of your movie is going to be potentially a rape scene with a woman, you know, almost falling off a cliff. That's just kind of a weird direction for it to go, is it not?
It's definitely weird. Everything about this movie is weird, though, and off-putting. So it's just really following suit and escalating the situation.
Off-putting, yes.
I mean, it felt more like a Stevie or Josh pick with the rape scene as opposed to a Korey pick.
Hey, there was no rape scene.
He feels her up in the apartment. He unbuttons her shirt.
He also gives her a lot of alcohol to try to render her.
Why does he become obsessed with Pat? Like, is that his fetish? Is it just a genderless, ambiguous,
It could just be a mystery.
The enigma.
The mystery, the enigma of it. I think it's kind of what they wrote for it. But I mean, real life, I don't know.
Going off of looks, I mean, it's kind of hard to convince me that that Pat is attractive, and that Kyle becomes obsessed with this person.
Every time Pat's on the screen, it's gross.
I mean, it's Kyle struggling with whether he's gay or not, right?
I didn't see it that way, but that's. I think he's okay with. Whatever Pat is.
With either.
Mm-hmm.
I think he
says solving the enigma of you will solve the enigma of me.
That's true. Yes.
He's the Joker.
I don't know why I think this is funny now. Looking back, it wasn't funny at the time. But when he's watching the show, the wife comes. She's like, "Are you okay in there?" He's like, "Yeah." She's like, "You've been in there for 3 days." He's like, "I'm thinking things over." I don't know what he said, but
I need time to think.
Yeah.
Okay, but why is this happening? Why is there this weird energy that this movie is like funny and good happening on this podcast when it was like one of the worst things I've ever watched?
It's an enigma, dude. I think it's just because we're having fun talking about it. It's not funny.
It's not about the journey. It's about the friends he made along the way.
Yeah. I'm not saying I like the Kyle part more. I'm just saying it was more interesting than the rest of the skit to skit running gags. Just the most obvious sexual jokes that you could possibly make, the most juvenile sex jokes.
A semblance of a plot starts to form.
But like the Kyle thing is, watching him jump headfirst into madness over this totally boring person. I mean, the only thing that's interesting about it is it a man or a woman? That's literally the only interesting thing about Pat, and this guy becomes so obsessed with it.
I would 100% rather watch Pat just spitting in people's faces for 70 minutes than the movie that we got.
Ew.
Gross. All right, so
what a pap grease
I
comment.
think where we left this off, Charles Rocket, Kyle, is chasing Pat, and Pat kind of is running through the streets of Hollywood and ends up in a Ween concert. And I don't know, like they're backstage, they climb up on like some of the setup, and Pat is getting cornered and eventually kind of like falls onto the stage but gets caught by a hook. So we get this is 2 movies in a row where someone got a hook up their ass, by the way, because it happened in Kickboxer too. And Pat's pants are ripped off, and Pat is hanging in front of the stage and the audience and the band, and everyone who's facing the stage gets to see what Pat's gender actually is. But Kyle,
why are they so happy though? Like they don't know Pat.
Maybe he's got a massive hog. Got the biggest wiener you've never seen.
That's the only explanation, really. I mean, because that's a good point. Why do they cheer?
Why does Ween only tour in one city?
Yeah.
Why are they playing the city again? Oh, it's LA. I couldn't tell.
There could be something cool shaved into her pubic hair.
Ugh, I don't want to think about that.
Like a little heart or something?
No, like it says ween in her pubic hair.
We appreciate the creativity and the persistence, but you're not going to go on tour no matter how many times you shave our name under your pubic hair, Pat.
That's not where the movie ends, however. Charles Rocket is dragged off. He never gets to find out the identity of his obsession. Stevie, it ends on a romantic note. Why don't you tell us what happens?
I was going to make a dark joke. Honestly, Brett, you kind of ruined it for me. I was never going to click on Charles Rocket's IMDb page in my life. I was going to live the rest of my life thinking this man was alive.
Sorry.
And now I know he's dead. But
R.I.P.
Yeah, it ends with Pat and David Spade lookalike Chris getting married in Tibet. Is that right?
I couldn't tell. I'm guessing
it was Tibet, but the funny joke there was they were both wearing dress wear. So even when they're getting married, you really don't know. I mean, it's just Pat. You're never going to know. Besides those people at the Ween concert.
And they don't say, like, you take your wife. They said, like, you take each other. I don't know. They said
take
something.
Each other, yeah.
Each other, yeah.
Yeah, they skirt around it.
I think Pappy talked about this, but one of the last lines, or maybe it was you, Stevie, sorry. Pat says, I don't want fame and fortune. I want you. And that is, like, meant to resolve, like, all their issues, which all stem from just Pat being horrible and Chris being, like, a regular, like, decent enough person.
You know, I don't think you know what you want out of life.
I just want fame and riches. Is that too much to ask?
Oh, Pat. Those are the goals of an empty soul, Pat. One that I, frankly, do not want to spend a whole lot of time with. So
you're not being supportive enough. I need something for me right now.
I don't know. It's a little too quick and easy, but for this type of movie, it's really the only out. I mean, what do we expect? And it's Pat.
I think they're going to get divorced in like 3 months when Chris realizes Pat still sucks.
Yeah.
So what, Pat quit his job then to be with Chris? Or because he didn't, this was the only thing he was good at? Was being
I bet he did not quit his job, but I mean, maybe.
The only thing Pat's good at.
Pat was really good at not caring about
Yeah, telling people to kill themselves.
Gosh.
He's not a doctor.
I mean, I think that pretty much wraps up the film itself. Do you guys have any final thoughts before we get into yes or no's?
There's the very last thing before the song is Kyle is calling into Kathy Griffin's show, so maybe you're right, Mikey. And it's, I don't know, it's kind of funny, I guess. She's like, so you're a transvestite? He's like, no. I sometimes enjoy dressing as a woman, and I sometimes enjoy dressing as a man. And that's like about it.
Very progressive.
Yeah, Kathy Griffin was playing Kathy Griffin in this, and she's like still not very successful in this movie. She doesn't even portray herself as
why does she play herself in all these movies?
I think it's just in 1994 movies she plays herself.
Okay. That's weird.
Was 94 also the year she did Seinfeld?
I don't know. I know a lot of these people.
That'd have been a massive year for Kathy Griffin.
Did better movies in 94.
The rest of her career is
Does this movie warrant the 0% critic score it has, you guys think?
No.
Yes.
Stevie loved it, so I don't think so.
I don't think so.
And only Lorne Michaels holds the true story behind Pat. Only he knows the true gender of Pat. So.
Julia Sweeney created the character, so
okay.
She probably knows.
I saw an interview, like an SNL kind of reunion interview on YouTube recently. It was like one of those late night shows. I don't remember which. But Norm Macdonald, he like has this big setup. He's like, I'm going to tell you guys something that no one knows. He's like, well, the first time I went on SNL, Chris Farley took me backstage and he like checked the room to make sure it was bugged. He's like really setting this up. And he goes, Chris Farley says to me, Pat is a girl. So there it is. I mean, if Norm Macdonald is to be believed.
Korey, I had a question for you.
Sure.
I think this is actually completely disingenuous, but I thought you would want to maybe address it. The top review on Letterboxd is quite a diatribe, but it goes on to call this movie anti-queer and obsessed with androgyny. How would you respond to that? Because that's not just a review. That is the most liked review for Pat on Letterboxd.
Okay, so I'll respond to the second part first. Obsessed with androgyny? I mean, certainly.
Yeah.
Is there any denying that this movie is obsessed with androgyny? The other thing, I don't really know what that means.
I think it's pretty lighthearted. I think it's stupid, personally, but whatever.
Anti-queer. Josh, maybe you can answer that. Is it anti-queer? You know a lot about things.
Here's the thing. I don't think it's any of the people in public's business what Pat is. And so maybe watching a movie like this really gives people license to like joke about and talk about behind closed doors people they're not unsure about in this way. And it really is just making a joke over and over and over about
I agree
the
with
fact
that.
She's transsexual.
For sure. Well, she's not transsexual. She's androgynous.
Pappy, is this movie anti-queer?
The reason that I think it's so disingenuous is like when that scene at the cruise ship and all those couples are lined up, there's all kinds of different couples. There's old couples, there's straight couples, there's a gay couple, like, and that is used for they're not exploiting that. It's just like to kind of code that this is like, you know, like a romantic type thing that's about to happen. Like, show me another 1994 where they would just show such nonchalantly a gay couple. Like, I don't know. To me, I think it's like totally disingenuous.
Yeah, I noted that as well.
Does the GIMP count in Pulp Fiction?
Yeah, he does.
Zed in
Pappy,
the GIMP?
you give the movie Frozen 2 like such crap for having a background character be gay or lesbian, but in this movie it's like something you applaud. I don't understand.
Well, this is a better movie.
Clearly. Who's the background character who's gay in Frozen 2?
No, he was mad at during Onward.
Oh, Onward. Yeah, a couple kisses.
No. Okay, but that's different. That's because Disney puts out all these feelers right before a movie comes out. We're going to have a gay character. Everyone tune in for the gay character. And it ends up being
this is a Disney movie, too.
I have no problem with like big or small parts. I think any parts are good for all kinds of different people. But it's just disingenuous when you market your movie in one way.
I thought the people that were so curious to know her gender were really coming off as like kind of awful people in the movie. Like
definitely, I agree.
Yeah,
the Japanese restaurant. I mean, it's like, who cares, dude?
But
she's just working. I mean, obviously she's sneezing in food and she's a bad employee and stuff. But shit on her for that. But like, who cares? What are you talking shit about her behind her back? It was just
everyone is so curious, and I think if you're a person that really does look like Pat, this movie would make you paranoid that that's all anyone ever thinks about is what's if you have a wiener or not.
Ween? Luckily, like 100 people saw this.
She played with one.
That's true.
Theaters for 1 week.
What if we bring this movie back and make it really tough for androgynous people now? Like, what if that's us? All of our millions of fans go out and rent It's Pat on VHS.
At Blockbuster.
Do you know how many famous androgynous people there are now? I mean, David Bowie is androgynous.
Boom.
It's like,
well, he's definitely not androgynous anymore.
I know, but he was like one of the most famous people of all time.
John Travolta.
Yeah, it's like nobody cares anymore.
Tilda Swinton.
Yeah.
Who might play David Bowie's character from Labyrinth in the new movie? That's in discussion.
Interesting.
But what do you guys say we do yes or no's now? You guys good with that?
Yes.
I'm ready.
Yeah.
All right, that's a bunch of yeses. All right. Nice setup. But we're going to go west to east, and I'm going to go first. We keep this pretty short because, what can you really say? I'm going to give It's Pat a no because it's a bad movie. It's mostly not funny. I'm kind of obsessed with it in a weird way, like Charles Rocket is with Pat, and I kind of always have been. So when you think of me and Pat, think of like me as Charles Rocket, but about the movie instead of about the person or character. That's kind of me. Never always has been. I saw this movie when I was pretty little, and it just fascinated me. I was like, what? It was just such a foreign concept for me to see at such a young age, and it's stuck in my mind, that's for sure. But it's pretty bad, and it's a no.
I have a question for you, Korey, real quick, if I may interject.
Yes.
Did you laugh more in this movie than you did in Ghostbusters 2016?
Yes.
Yeah, so you think this is funnier than Ghostbusters 2016?
Yeah, I think I gave that one a 0 out of 10 or something like that.
Jeez. I still got to see that.
It's not funny, but okay, yeah, listen to our pod, his pod. Sorry, go ahead, Pap, sorry.
Big Dumb Movie, check it out. I will give this a no. I think the reason that I don't like the Kyle character mostly is that it kind of, I'm not going to lie, he does have some funny parts and he's over the top, and when we say it out loud, it sounds funny, but he forces the movie just to spin its wheels in basically one joke, one setting, one beat over and over and over again. Like when Pat is at least out having his adventures with Ween, or having an engagement party, or like getting a new job, at least the movie's going somewhere. At least we're doing something. Like I can't believe that a movie at 70 minutes felt so slow at the same time too. Like Josh said, it was like a time machine. Like it was painful to watch. I did laugh a couple times, I'm not gonna lie, so it's not the worst. I wouldn't say it's even like in the bottom like 5 movies we've ever spoiled, but it's a pretty solid no for me.
But real quick, what's one example movie you've spoiled that's worse than this?
Los Enchiladas. Enchiladas.
Higher.
Everybody's
Sorry,
got
Josh.
their favorite.
That movie felt 3 hours too long.
Yeah, I did not laugh at that movie at all. Like, not one time.
Fair enough.
Which is crazy because Mitch Hedberg's funny.
Let's pivot to a Los Enchiladas. Shit on it. Los Enchiladas one more time.
Sounds like Time Bandits just got redeemed right there too.
Who's next?
Stevie went first on the introductions.
Oh, okay, I'll go. I'll give this movie a no.
Oh, I thought you were going to do yes.
It's horrible. It's just absolutely horrible. There's absolutely no story to it whatsoever. And it's hard to watch a lot of scenes, and I don't mind awkward humor, but this just goes beyond that. But I will say this, if you have a group of friends, watch it, and like us, laugh talking about it. That's the best that you honestly come from this movie. So this is a hard no from me. Definitely one of the worst we've watched so far, and spoilers. Definitely bottom 10, but I had fun talking about it with you guys, so...
Take a shot every time she goes.
You'll be dead on
Pat
the floor.
Drinking game.
It's me.
Yeah.
I can't believe you and Stevie can't figure out west to east in our town.
Dude, it's
but
confusing. The layout,
It's
the
you,
layout
then
of,
me, then Mikey.
The layout of this town makes no sense, but go ahead.
It revolves around a river, so it is tough. But I'll give this a... I said at the top of the pod, this movie is so slow, feels like a time machine, but because of that and the fact I had to watch it, it slowly charms you, I guess, throughout it. And I think that's just a survival instinct.
Stockholm Syndrome.
Yeah, seriously. I needed to start liking something to survive to the end of the 100 and 17 minutes. It sucks as a movie, but it was fun to talk about with you guys. And it's just like so bad. I was questioning, like, Pappy set up this like graph that if something's so bad it could possibly go into this good category. And I think ultimately solving the enigma of whether It's Pat the movie is a yes or no would solve the enigma of me.
He's losing it.
So is that a no?
He's not sure.
Josh, you have to give a yes or no. There's stats. There's
Why?
stats.
I'm okay with it.
I'm not.
I'm not okay with it.
This is not an androgynous podcast. You got to have a yes or a no. It's not.
In the stats, you just put the symbol for androgyny in one of the cells.
So binary of you guys.
If someone waits till after the pod, after everything's over, after the credits, listen all that way, maybe I'll give it a yes or no there.
What is happening?
I think you need to be suspended, Josh.
That's what happens in this movie.
I'm perfectly okay with it.
It goes back and forth the whole time. I thought it was a wonderful review to
Okay,
write
you
up.
don't give. You don't get to play trivia then.
Mikey, you're up, I think.
It's definitely a no. But and it's not funny, and I don't think it's smart in any sort of way, but it's just really gross. This person is just spitting on stuff constantly, and I don't really like that kind of humor. It's just disgusting.
Love it.
I think the only redeeming thing that I can talk about is just the Kyle character who just lost himself in this enigma trying to figure out Pat, and I thought that was semi-funny, but again, it's just this character is so annoying, and it's like when stuff like this gets made, you just like sit back and wonder, like, couldn't this money been used to, like, I don't know, fund a library or something instead of make this movie? Like, literally anything this movie could have been used for. Just, I don't know, maybe burn the script and never talk about it again. Just why was it made? Just why? Where did this money go? And like, look, nobody saw it. Like, what was the point? It didn't make any money, and I don't know how you would expect it to. So it's just, don't waste your time with it. I mean, it's an hour and 17 minutes, but it's not good. So it's a definite no.
As a quick side note, Julia Sweeney never wanted to play Pat again after this. That killed it. But Brett, you're up.
I'm going to do mostly verbatim from something that was on our thread today. Josh said, yeah, I'm not watching this effing movie out. Why? I just watched at least 45 minutes of it, and only 2 minutes and 47 seconds had gone by. It's not natural. That pretty much sums up. I will admit, though, I don't think this is as bad as I thought it was going to be, but I mean, it's really bad. It's definitely a no. It's a super solid no. But I give the movie a no, but I give this podcast a yes. It was really fun to do. Looking back, I think I found Kyle funnier and funnier. And I think I only laughed at one Pat part. And I don't know why I thought it was funny. But she said, how was I supposed to know you needed to go to medical school for 12 years? I don't know why I thought that was funny.
To be a brain surgeon?
Yeah. It did kind of just caught me off guard. But it's definitely a no. I don't really particularly like this skit on SNL. And 77 minutes of it was... I remember thinking this movie seemed like it's been so long, but it's one of the shortest movies I've ever seen. So it's a no. I'm glad we did it. I did not. If you listen to the pod, our last pod, I was devastated that Korey picked this. I didn't want to do it, but I'm glad we did it, and it's a no.
I am too, and I'm glad you gave this podcast a yes, Brett. That does mean a lot to me.
Oh, yeah.
This movie was what, 70-something minutes, you guys said?
77, yeah.
Yeah. It's nothing. It's a breeze. It's trivia time, boys. This is Poor Man's Jeopardy. I sent you guys the link.
I'm on it.
There are no absurd questions in Poor Man's Jeopardy. Like, how much does a fucking tank weigh in non-metric tons? Nope. The rules are simple and the questions are fair. The fair part might be debatable. So,
oh boy.
I didn't put any questions in here that I wouldn't be able to answer myself. This might be easy for you guys, but for the listeners at home, this is how it works. On the board, there are 5 categories. Each category has 3 clues with ascending point values. The higher the point value, the more difficult the clue will be. We're going to go through each player one at a time. You can choose your category and point value. If you get it right, you get the points. If you get it wrong, you get negative points. You cannot pass, and you must respond in the form of a question, like in Jeopardy. That's kind of to offset how some of these are kind of easy. So remember, form of a question, please. And the winner of this will get to choose the next movie we do an episode on here at Spoilers. That's the way it works. Woohoo! As a side note, the last time we did this, Mikey won with 1 point when I did Poor Man's Jeopardy. And here are the categories. Hollywood Pats, Ghostbusters, Quentin Tarantino, 3-word Disney. I give you 3 words and you respond with the movie. And movies. Each correct response is a movie with the word movie in the title.
Ugh.
How could you have possibly known if you would have gotten the 3-word Disney one right?
How could I have known?
Yeah.
Well, I just put something that I would be able to answer. So, like, if I saw this, what would be my conclusion?
Okay.
All right, so Mikey, you're first up. What's it going to be?
I'll go Third World Disney for 2.
Baboon, Liberty, Wakatepe.
Baboon. I'm gonna say, what is the Lion King?
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. Help him out, Pappy.
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, well.
I would have guessed the Lion King as well.
The Jungle Book?
This is Jungle to Jungle.
Jungle to Jungle.
Mimi Siku.
What's that one about?
Tim Allen has a kid.
It's terrible.
He brings to the city. It's a funny movie.
That's okay, though. You still got this. You got one wrong last time, and you still made it.
I won with 1 point last time, so I'm still pretty confident.
Brett, you're up.
All right, I'm going to go big or go home. I'll go Ghostbusters for 3.
Okay.
Trap! Please be the 1984 one. Please be the 1984 one.
Before Ghostbusters, Rick Moranis starred in this 1983 comedy along with the late Max von Sydow.
What is Strange Brew? I don't know.
That is correct.
Woo!
Well done, Brett.
Interesting.
Pappy, you're up.
I'll take Hollywood Pats for 1.
This actor played Arthur O'Dwyer, who had a broken leg, in the 2015 film Bone Tomahawk.
I got it.
Why can't I think of his name? I have a Bone Tomahawk poster in my house.
The category is Hollywood Pats.
Yeah, Pat. Who is Pat?
No.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. The correct response is who is Patrick Wilson?
Patrick Wilson.
Josh, hit it.
Korey, can you briefly explain the 3-word Disney category again?
I give you 3 words, and you respond with the correlating movie.
That is also 3 words?
No, it's just a movie.
He's given like 3 keywords to you, and you have to tell what the movie is.
3-word Disney 1.
Mother, circus, feather.
Dumbo?
Is that your final answer?
No. Could it possibly be Dumbo?
That is correct. Remember all? That
Because
was in the
Josh
form of a
uses
question.
an inflection of a question. It's like, Dumbo?
Dumbo?
Is that a question? Does that count as a question?
You see that Black Jeopardy? Alizé? Oh, I guess it's a form of question. Oh, okay. Alizé? Edit that out. Thank you.
Everything stays. Stevie, you're up.
Read the room, Brett.
That's why I made the joke. I read the room.
Brett Breeze.
Let's do Quentin Tarantino for 2.
This actress played the title character in the Tarantino film Jackie Brown.
Oh, God bless America.
Easy.
It really stinks because I know her name.
She's pretty cute.
I know. It's really gonna drive me nuts. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
You like the Delphonics?
Yeah.
The correct response is who is Pam Grier?
Pam Grier. Yeah.
It's okay. Everyone's still in the game. Mostly Brett. Mikey, you're up.
Let's try movies for 3.
Ooh.
Paul Freeman, aka Belloc from Raiders of the Lost Ark, plays a slimy supervillain in this 1995 movie based on a popular TV show.
Belloc.
Oh,
wow. What is not another teen movie?
Sorry, that is incorrect. The
That's
correct
the
response
only movie I could think of.
is what is Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie?
Ooh, wow.
Oh, I get it.
It's okay,
All
man. You still got this. Brett?
I'll take Ghostbusters for 2.
In Ghostbusters 2016,
Oh, crap.
Leslie Jones plays this supposedly funny, streetwise character.
Supposedly.
Allegedly.
You do not have to provide the last name.
I have no idea. What is Jackie? I don't know.
The correct response is, who is Patty?
Patty.
Brett, that takes you
Patty.
from 3 down to 1.
I should have known.
Give me Hollywood Pats for 2, please. Worked well last time.
This actor played Dion, who creates artificial intelligence, in the 2015 film Chappie.
I don't know.
I know. Oh, no.
I don't know.
Pappy Chappy.
The correct response, who is Dev Patel?
Yeah.
Oh, Dev Patel. Yeah, I see the pattern.
Oh, that's not to be Patrick. Gotcha.
Yeah, probably should have had quotes around PAT.
Well, I'm not going to let Brett run the Ghostbusters category, so give me GBs for 1.
All right, Josh, Ghostbusters for 1. The writer and performer of the Ghostbusters theme song.
That's a 1-pointer?
Easy.
That's hard.
I thought that was going to be very easy.
Easy.
Oh, man.
No
This
idea.
is one of my best friend's first dance with his mom after his wedding song. I should really know this. CJ.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Who is Ernie Hayes?
I'm sorry, the correct response is Brett,
Ray Parker Jr.
who is Ray Parker Jr.
You're thinking of Ernie Hudson, who plays Winston?
Ernie Hudson.
Don't tell me who I'm thinking of. You don't know my thoughts.
Stevie, you're up.
I know everything about
I
you.
really want to go to -5 with Mikey. Let's go with 3-word Disney for 3.
Ooh.
Orphan, fruit, insects. Think closely about the words involved.
Inside of sex?
James and the Giant Peach.
Yep.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer. Oh, what is
No, he's
James
wrong.
and the Giant Peach?
There
Wrong.
you go.
I will accept that,
Oh.
as they do in the show Jeopardy. If someone
Not-
self-corrects,
Not
they
in
let
Double
them.
Jeopardy.
Jeez.
Alex Trebek has a heart.
Almost fumbled the ball
That
there, Steve.
is correct, Stevie. That takes you from -2 up to 1, where you are now tied with Brett. And there is one round
We got a game,
left.
folks.
Mikey, how are you going to sway the outcome of this?
I mean, Hollywood Pat seems kind of difficult. Nobody's getting those. Let's finish off Hollywood Pats.
Remember, Mikey,
Doesn't
this
matter.
is Gollum rules. If you get it wrong, you win.
Hollywood Pats for 3. Director of the 2009 Adam Sandler film, Funny People.
Oh, I got it.
No idea.
Got it.
Correct response, Brett?
Judd Apatow.
It is Judd Apatow. Mikey has taken one of the 3-point values off the board. Brett, you're up.
Go for the win, Brett.
If I go for the movie and
What's out?
I'll go with movies for 2.
Before playing Captain America, Chris Evans played Jake Weiler in this 2001 spoof comedy.
What is not another teen movie?
Boom, you got it. That takes you up to 3, and you are now in the lead.
Someone take a 3 so I can. Come on, Pappy. Be my boy.
Movies
Take a
for
peek.
1, please.
You dick.
In this 1995 film, Pauly Shore's character creates and then promptly devours the Leaning Tower of Cheesa.
Oh, a Goofy movie. What is a Goofy movie?
That is correct. What is a Goofy movie? Classic movie. Josh.
Stevie. We've become like real life friends through this podcast.
Yeah, we actually have become friends. It's been really cool. I think I talk to you more than I talk to your brother now.
But
It only took 100 episodes.
I talk to you more than I talk to my brother.
I'm okay if you take the 3, Josh. I hosted last time.
I'll take QT for 1.
Let the ring
That's what
bearer
a true friend would do.
yeah, it sounds like something Josh would do.
I am not as good as trivia. So
You're not a good friend
I love the
either.
Upset. I'm going to see the last second shot, Brett.
Quentin
Give him a
Tarantino
shot.
for 1. This Tarantino film follows the escapades of a character named Stuntman Mike.
What is Death Proof?
That is correct.
Woo!
Woo! Stevie, there's one left on the board. If you get this, you host. If you don't,
nervous right
then
now.
it goes to Brett.
Alright, let's do it.
Tarantino wrote, but did not direct, this 1993 film starring Christian Slater.
Easy.
God bless America. Hold on.
So easy.
What is True Romance?
That is
Bye-bye.
correct.
You're all dead to me.
What an exciting game.
The shit thing is I would have got that too.
Wow.
Dang it. Fuck you,
Man.
Stevie. I would have got that.
And then you would have been tied up.
Like Steve Kerr passing to Jordan in the lane for the final shot.
I feel like I just shot over
Josh.
Craig Elo
Set
right
up
there.
Stevie.
Yeah, Josh, you had a chance to freaking win, dude.
There were hidden columns.
He said he wasn't confident.
I only knew like one question out of all of those.
Well done, Stevie. Stevie is going to be
Thank
hosting
you.
the next podcast movie pick episode we do. And to give him a minute to decide, we'll have Spoiler Man tell us some words.
Back-to-back Stevie.
Spoiler Man here. Our email is podcastspoilers@gmail.com. Twitter is @spoilers_pod. Our Instagram is podcast spoilers. It's lit. Josh Hensley from the Rutabaga wrote our theme song. Our spoilers hotline is 903-776-4507. That's 903-SPOIL07.
And we're back. Stevie has selected a movie for next week. What's it going to be, man?
I want to slowly, before this project is all said and done, make Jake Gyllenhaal our king of spoilers. And it's a movie I've seen. I saw it in theaters. I really enjoyed this movie. Behind the scenes are great too. We're going to be doing 2011's very underrated Jake Gyllenhaal vehicle, Source Code.
Ooh, awesome. I have not seen that movie, but I feel that Jake Gyllenhaal will never reach the level
Prince of Persia
of Anthony Daniels.
I also saw that in theaters. It was awful.
Awesome, guys. Thank you for this episode, for trivia. It's been a lot of fun. I guess that's all we got this time. We'll see you next time on Source Code. Take it away, Spoiler Man.
Please support this podcast by leaving us an iTunes review. To do this, 1. Search for movie spoilers. 2. Click on our orange Spoilers Bowl logo and scroll all the way to the bottom. 3. Leave us some stars and some words. Now you can check us out on Spotify, YouTube, Stitcher, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you enjoyed what you heard today, subscribe on SoundCloud or iTunes.
Man, before everything started happening in this country, I was going to pick a Michael Bay military film, but not anymore.
Transformers?
No, The Rock.
Ooh.
Oh,
I
The
think
Rock?
Tarantino also did uncredited rewrites on that.
Did he really?
I think so.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's
Let
more
me-
like FBI, not like street cops.
Hold on, let me think of a movie real quick.
Brett, I thought you had it, man.
Nobody talked to me.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Brett's still wondering how the deep state uprooted his trivia wins. Like,
No, I mean,
you would have lost either way.
That's just really typical Josh, so I guess I should not have been surprised.
Such a good
Brett.
friend.
No, he's
says he was
terrible.
gonna-
There was a category called Ghostbusters on the board. Now, granted, there was a Disney category, but still, I think you did pretty well.
Hold on, I'm almost
This
there.
injustice will not stand.
This aggression.
Brett,
man.
I couldn't think of anything I actually knew about Quentin Tarantino to answer those questions.
What are feet?
Feet fetish, man.
Let's go. Come on.
Okay, I got it. That's a really good up, Kylo.
That was fun.
Thanks. I had a lot of fun too.
It's in the collection of pods we have that's like the pod is actually better than the movie.
And now we never have to talk about It's Pat again. Never has to come up in any sort of conversation ever.
Never podcasting laying down on the floor again. That was the biggest mistake of my life.
What the hell?
My podcast. You missed the whole fiasco.
It affected your trivia.
That's why, yeah. Brett? Did you leave?
Brett.
Brett.
I think he left, guys. He's not on the call anymore.
Oh my.
Oh, shit.
Kylo, please use this for the hijack.
Look at what you did, Korey.
Look what you...
Seriously.
You gave a man a whole category and he still
And he
couldn't produce
still
a win.
lost.
And now you got him in a tizzy. He's spiraling right now.
Oh, no. I feel so bad.
Why did he want to be beat by Josh and not Stevie? I don't understand what he's
Yeah,
upset about.
would have
What-
lost either way.
You would have lost either way.
what's the
Well, we would have
difference?
gone into the elimination round. We had 2 extra categories.
I guess he would have tied Brett.
You
There was
totally
a category for released in 1994 and another one for SNL feature films.
You totally hoodwinked me. I thought Pat Riley was going to be a Hollywood Pat since he was the coach of the Lakers at some point. So I was hunting
I thought.
for that one.
Oh, no, I didn't say that. That was with trivia. Someone else said that.
Oh, God damn it.
I gotta admit, my inner Mikey did come out. Like, I really just didn't want to be in a tiebreaker with Brett at all costs.
Well,
I'm not,
also,
I'm not
if
good
you're
at trivia.
confident- If you're not confident in the category, you're not going to choose the most points because it's going to be the harder question.
And then you're gonna look even dumber.
Right.
Well, either way, it's destroyed Brett's confidence, and I've never
It's
seen
Pat,
him
boys.
eject from a podcast so
Pat.
quickly.
You even made a folder and dipped.
That's the funny part. You made the folder so you wouldn't
Made
even...
the folder.
He's like, I'm not quitting, and I'm still gonna be a productive member of the pod, but I'm fucking out of here for now.
He's going to be stewing on this for a while, Josh.
Yeah, he's gonna come back at me with like a PowerPoint about all this in like 2 days.
What do you guys think he was going to choose?
A movie he really, really likes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, can I just say something?
Yes?
This is a yes dog just because it educated y'all mofos on Ween. Hopefully he can get into
Yes,
them.
dog. For the stats.
Whoever's editing that, put it at the end, please.
You got it.
Yes for the ween.
So it's a yes, dog, in the stats, Josh, just to confirm.
Just a soft yes.
You're taking the minutes,
Yeah.
right, Pap?
Stats matter.
Soft yes, then.